Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Made by Mumino podcast. My name is Catherine and this is my little corner of the internet to talk about all things yarny, test knits that I'm working on, projects, that kind of thing. Occasionally I talk about spinning and weaving. So welcome, huge welcome to you if you're new here, and a very warm welcome back if you've been here before to listen to my rambling. There's been quite a few new people here recently. So I thought I'd explain again why my name is Made by Mumino. So you can find me on all social media, Instagram, Ko-fi, Ravelry, as Mumino, because I love all things Moomins, and that will become relevant a bit later on. Mumino is just a derivation of the word Moomin. And it just seemed like a funny name 20 years ago when I started doing social media stuff or whenever it was. But it's kind of stuck. And I thought, yeah, go with it because nobody else has got that name. So happy days. I live in Germany. I'm originally from Wales in the UK. My parents live in the Brannau Brychaniog, which is the Brecon Beacons in Wales. But I moved here to be with my partner, who's from this area. And we live in a tiny little flat in the middle of Mönchengladbach. I can't remember if I've already said, but not too far away from Düsseldorf, not too far from the Dutch border. It's a really nice area to live. I enjoy living here. Welcome to you. If you are interested in any of the things that I talk about, everything is linked down below. I also put chapters in, so if you want to skip over any bits that don't interest you, that's absolutely fine. Feel free. So I have a nice cup of blueberry tea today. And we'll get started. I also forgot to mention, I always forget something in the intro. There'll be a giftaway in this episode, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. So today I am wearing, put this down a sec, I'm wearing my Nefeli, which is a colourwork t-shirt or short sleeve jumper more than a t-shirt really, from Isabel Kramer. As with all her patterns, this is really size inclusive. I made the 5th size, but I believe there are 9 or 10 sizes altogether. For reference, I have a 120 centimetre bust, which is about 48 inches. So I tend to go for the size that gives me -1 to +2 in ease, centimetres wise, something like that, because I prefer a sort of a more tighter fitting or more close fitting garment. But yes, I made the 5th size in this. It's made on 4mm needles, which is a US 6. And I used British Wool Cones woolly knit in, what colour was it? I think it's smoke. Yeah, I think I used smoke. Held double throughout. So it's woolly knit British wool ply. Technically it's a 4-ply, but I find it quite thin. So I find that holding it double gives a good sport weight. And the colourwork section is made with John Arbon Exmoor sock. I've got the notes there. What colour is this? The lighter colour is Aggie and the darker colour is Hemel. So it's just a really delicate bit of colourwork, and I think this may have been the first colourwork garment that I made. And it was the start of a slippery slope for me, because I think most of the stuff that I knit is colourwork these days. I really enjoy it. So I find it very meditative because you need to concentrate on the sort of yarn management, on your tension, on the charts and everything. So no, I really enjoy doing colourwork. It sort of scratches an itch in my brain. So yeah, I made this a few years ago now. And I find it really useful. So to start off with, I wasn't sure if I would enjoy wearing a short sleeve jumper, but it's fantastic in this sort of season. We're just in the beginning of November. It's coldish. Sort of when I'm leaving the house at sort of 6:30 in the morning, it feels cold, but it's not really cold enough for a great big woolly pulley yet. So this is perfect. I would definitely make this again. It was a really cute little pattern, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed making it. Altogether for my size, I think it used, how much did it use? I think it was about 300 grams altogether. So this is a really nice little pattern. And these bits here, I think this was only sort of 40 grams or so that this used in the one colour. and yeah, 40 grams in each colour. So it's a really nice use for maybe some leftover sock yarn or something like that. Okay, so the first thing I've got to show you today is a delightful little airy square of mohair. How gorgeous is that? This is a test knit that I did for the Midnight Architect, Simone Bechtold. She's a designer here in Germany, and this is the second thing that I've test knit for her. I also test knit the Bramble shawl for her a few months ago, and her designs are just really, really pretty, nice and simple, usually with some sort of detail, whether it's the gauge that creates it a very nice light and airy texture, or some cabling or some lace work, that kind of thing. So really, really pretty designs. This is going to be super wearable. I've already been wearing it quite a bit. So it was my first project using intarsia. I tend to go for test knits that will challenge me in some way, or that use a technique that I just haven't done before, because it just forces me to learn something new. And yeah, I saw this and I thought, yeah, why not? Go for it, a bit of intarsia. So I made mine slightly bigger than the pattern suggested. I double checked with the designer to see if she minded, and she said, no, absolutely not, go for it. So I cast on about that many extra stitches. So you cast on with the border colour to start off with, just a normal cast on. I think I did a long tail cast on, I think. Let me double check in my notes. Yes, I did a long tail cast on with this. And then you knit for a while for the border, and then you split your border colour into two little balls of yarn so that you can do the intarsia and add the contrast colour in the middle. I wanted to go for kind of a moody autumnal shade that would look really nice underneath a jacket or something. And I've just been wearing this as a little triangle underneath my jacket that I wear every day. And it's just so nice and warm. Considering how thin and airy it is, it's just, yeah, it's unbelievably warm and really, really soft and lovely. So I would be quite careful with the mohair that you choose for this. But I think it would probably work really well in a 4-ply yarn as well, or another lace weight. But you might just have to mess around a little bit with the gauge to see what happens. So I can't remember if I already said, but this is on 4mm needles, or a US 6, with a single thread of mohair throughout. And that's why you get this beautiful light and airy texture. I used Ito. I had some left over from a previous project, and I think altogether which one was it? Yeah, the centre colour I only used 11 grams, and the border colour I used 13 grams. It's nothing at all, so it's perfect for a little bit of leftover mohair, and any lace weight yarn would create this effect. But yeah, this pattern, as I said, was a test knit. It should be coming out soon. The deadline was on the 30th of October, so I imagine it'll be coming out quite soon. So keep an eye out on her Instagram for this. It's a really pretty little pattern. It is a little bit fiddly with the yarn management with the mohair, because you've got lots of very thin bits of yarn that want to stick together. So it wasn't really a handbag knitting project for me. It was definitely a sofa knitting project. But I really enjoyed it, and it's ever so pretty. And it would make a gorgeous little gift knit for somebody as well. But this is mine. I'm keeping this. The two colours that I used were burnt umber. So it looks black, but it's actually got kind of bluish undertones. And the middle colour was coke, which is kind of a dark reddish brown colour. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out, and we'll definitely make it again. It's pretty gorgeous. Okay, the next thing to talk to you about are these gorgeous fingerless mitts. I'm not going to talk about these for too long, because I talked about them quite a lot in my previous episode, but I finished them, another finished object. So yeah, these are a really, really old pattern. I've had it in my library for ages, and I keep meaning to make them, but you know, test knits and life and everything get in the way. They're just a really, really simple fingerless mitt. The pattern's called A Time to Reap, and it's by the Dandelion Knitter, I think it is. I don't think she's designing anymore. I'll link her down below, but she makes some really cute, she made some really cute little patterns. I made these on 3.25mm needles, which is a US 3, and they're super simple. They're just a little bit of garter stitch, a little bit of patterning, knit, 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 thumb gusset, and then the same at the top. I did make a little adaptation in these. As you can see, there's some shaping. So in the original pattern, that shaping isn't there, and you cast on fewer stitches for the cuff. But I've got quite chunky little arms. So I wanted to accommodate that so that they would fit really nicely, and I'm really happy with them. I haven't blocked these. I am embarrassed to say. I shouldn't be embarrassed, but I am, because I've been wearing them. They've been perfect for an extra little layer in the mornings. In fact, if I put them on for you, take my watch off. They're meant to be kind of slouchy, and they certainly have achieved that, and I'm really happy with the way they look. So this is with a wool alpaca mix, and part of the reason why I wanted to make these is because I seem to be developing a little intolerance to alpaca. How cute is that? And I just wanted to see if it was just here that I was getting the reaction, or if it was just a general thing. Touch wood, it seems to be okay so far, and I've worn these a few times. Which is really, really good to know. So yeah, these are the finished gloves, and I'm super happy with them. They really do need blocking, but never mind, it's fine. So again, these are a really quick knit. The pattern was really easy to memorise, and yeah, this was definitely handbag knitting. It didn't require too much concentration. And the gusset shaping is nice. It was easy and simple to follow. And also, if the patterning isn't really your thing, it'd be really simple to customise them, to make them a little plainer or whatever, or shorter, whatever. I love these. I love knitting because you can just make things how you want to make them. You can take the pattern and run with it. So yeah, that's my fingerless mitts that I expect I'll be wearing a lot this season. Okay, the next thing to show you is my Kiruna cardigan, and I'm so happy! I did a steek! I did a thing! How cool is that? So last week I cut it up the middle. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen it, but I'll put a little video here as well. And there were lots of deep breaths. So to prepare for it, I reinforced the steek with a little crochet chain up the inside. To be honest though, this is really woolly wool and it didn't really need it. But yeah, I reinforced the steek and just went for it. And here we go, it's done. I picked up the collar, did the button bands. Oh, I also fixed that little mistake that I showed you last time. Where is it? Somewhere here. It's on this side somewhere. Anyway, I think it's that one there. So I made a little mistake in the colour work. So yeah, it's there. I can feel it. So I did a little duplicate stitch there, and yes, I can feel it if I run over with my finger. There's a slightly thicker area, but to the eye, it's not visible. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. I blocked it as soon as I did all of these bits because I would like to immediately sew on a little bit of ribbon on the inside to cover up the seam of the steek. But I should turn this inside out so you can see what it looks like. I haven't tidied up all my ends yet, but it's not finished, so that's absolutely fine. But that's what it looks like on the inside, and you can see with the steek you end up with this kind of frayed edge, but that's totally normal and absolutely okay. That's what you want it to look like. Now, there are a few options in how to deal with this, and also a few options in how to reinforce your steek. So I chose to do a crochet chain, as I said, but you can also use a sewing machine and just quickly run up the inside of the seam there. Or you can needle felt it. Now, I've never tried doing that before. But I was talking to some of the people in my knit night about it last week, and they were saying they would like to give that a go too, and a few people commented on my Instagram post as well saying that they would like to do that, and I think I'll probably give it a go. I think I'll maybe make a couple of little swatches at some point in the future and have a go at doing needle felting before steeking. So yeah, it's an interesting idea. Now, when you finish doing it, it's absolutely fine just to leave it like that. But I found some velvet ribbon. I mean, how gorgeous is that? So I'm going to hand stitch a little bit of velvet ribbon down the inside there, just to cover up those seams. The next stage with this is to put the sleeves on. So I haven't actually cut the holes yet for the sleeves. I did do a little try on yesterday with my arms like this. It does fit. I did look very silly, so I'm not going to show you a picture of me going around like a penguin to try this on. My partner thought it was very funny. Yeah, so the next stage is to do the armholes and to pick up for the arms, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then it's done. So yeah, I'm so happy with the way this is turning out. It's going to be a super wearable, comfortable top layer cardigan. This is thick rustic wool. This is woolen twine, Shetland, Welsh Black Mountain mix, and this is, the pink is the Dales 50/50 from Nellie and Eve. So these are good rustic woolly wools, and it's going to be a super warm, gorgeous garment to wear over dresses and things. I'm very happy with this, really, really happy with this. So yeah, that is that. I am making the 4th size. I think there are 10 sizes altogether. The pattern is quite long. The designer is giving it to us in 3 parts, and this is the finished part 2, so part 3 is the sleeves. The pattern also comes in 2 different size groupings, so I'm doing the 1 to 5, and then there's a second set of patterns that goes from 5 to 10, I think it is, oh sorry, 6 to 10. Because there's lots of charts and things for each size. It's such a well-written pattern, and MJ really holds your hand all the way through it. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the challenge. I've never done a steek before. This bit here is a 3-needle bind off. I was also very good and did a tubular bind off for everything. Again, I did little videos on Instagram of me doing those bits. These buttons, gosh, my hair is everywhere. These buttons are yew tree, and they're made by Tom Dyson Woodworking. I picked them up at Unravel Festival a couple of months ago, and I just the designer originally put toggle shaped buttons on there, which I absolutely love, but I had these buttons and I just really wanted to use them. They're just so special, and you can see the knots of the original wood, and it just looks so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that. They're just really, really beautiful. So yeah, that's my progress so far. Super happy with it. You never know, by the next episode I may have actually finished this. Maybe. Let's keep our fingers crossed. What will it be? 2 weeks from now? Yeah, I probably will have finished it by the next time you see this, so fingers crossed. Yeah, really, really happy with this, and it just, the colour just brings me joy. So that is that. The next thing I've got to show you is half a finished object. So normally I'm super lazy and I just make my little vanilla sock recipe, because I love to have vanilla socks in my handbag because they're super easy to pick up, and you don't have to worry about following a pattern. I'm making some pattern socks. These are the Njord Socks from Nancy Wheeler, who also has a podcast called Knit Sip Happy. And yeah, this is the fingering weight version. There's also a DK version, which I made last year as well. And I love them. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they're such a simple design, nice and easy to memorise, but they look super effective. Nancy writes lovely sock patterns. But yes, so you have a little cable running down that side and down that side, and a little detail at the back as well. But it's a 4-row repeat, nice and easy to memorise. I've got stitch markers along there to count my rows to make sure that I get the foot right. But yeah, as I said, normally I stick to vanilla socks, but this is, all of Nancy's patterns are really well written and they're usually pretty easy to memorise. So I thought I'd do a bit of a change. and knit something with a little pattern. And I do love this little mini cable on the sock, really cute. So I am using some indie dyed yarn from a Dutch yarn dyer called Het Volbeest, who I bought the one of her advent calendars, yarn advents this year, the Moomin themed one. I don't normally buy advents, but I could not because it was Moomin themed. I had to do it. In fact, I think she might have put on Instagram yesterday that she was putting a couple more in her shop. So I think there might be a couple available as of now, time of filming, if you want to go and have a look. But this is just a sock yarn. This is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it is yeah, a delightful sort of mix of purples and yellows and things called Old Leaves. It's really pretty. So yeah, making myself a nice pair of socks out of that. I have a UK 6 foot, which is an EU 39. So I tend to aim for about 80 rows here, about 60 rows here, including the cuff, that is. And I tend to do a 64 stitch cast on with a rounded toe. And I tend to do a heel flap and gusset as well. It just suits my foot. I have quite a high instep. Yeah, Nancy's patterns are lovely and I can only recommend them. So yeah, that is my Njord fingering weight sock. The next thing to show you is a bit of a non-event, to be honest. I've done hardly any of it, but it has been cast on. So I really wanted to make another jumper for my partner. I tend to make him at least one jumper a year. And that's what I've done so far. Not a lot. So this will be the single malt from Maxim Sear. I'll put a picture up here. It's an all over texture jumper. I test knit the cardigan version of this for him a couple of years ago, and it's really, really nice. It's basically along the same lines. And I'm using this yarn. It's the Croft Aran weight. It's 166 meters per 100 grams. Which matches the gauge of the yarn that Maxim recommends in the pattern. Although he calls it a DK, but I think that 166 meters per 100 grams is a bit heavier than a DK, but anyway. But this works really well. I thought of this, so in the last episode I was wearing a slipover, a Tetra slipover from Rachel Costello that I made using this yarn, and I remembered I've got a sweater quantity of this lurking in a bag. I really need to make something out of this, and I thought it would be perfect. It's a good sort of big box yarn. It's a little bit rustic but still quite squishy. Fantastic for stitch definition. The what's it called? The test knit that I did, the cardigan version of this jumper, I made in this yarn as well, and it's really stood up nicely. And as I said, the stitch definition is great, and because it's West Yorkshire spinners, it's yeah, it washes well, and it's just a nice reliable yarn. So yeah, I'm going to make this slowly. It's not a gift or anything. It's just something I want to sort of have ticking over in the background. So the construction of this is a raglan. And the short rows are in the collar. So I've got to the bit where I need to put the short rows in. My partner is very slim, but he's quite wide across the shoulders in proportion to his waist. So I imagine that I'll probably do some extra shaping. I might even put in some extra short rows as well, just to get the shaping right. But no, I really like Maxim's patterns. They suit my partner's style really, really well. And this will be the fourth one of his patterns that the fourth one of his patterns that I've made, and they're really nicely written, and they're sort of written with sort of a male wearer in mind as well, which is nice. So they do take into account sort of different body shapes and things, which is really cool. But yeah, that's very much a work in progress. The next thing to talk to you about is a long-term project that I've pulled out of hibernation. So as I said, I'm going to get a yarn advent this year, obviously not in the too distant future, because it's the 3rd of November today, so it's less than a month. I don't know where this year has gone, but anyway. So last year I bought myself the winter box from Meadow Yarn as a birthday gift to myself, and my partner really kindly gifted me a Sherry Iris Christmas Eve box last year as well for Christmas as my main Christmas present. And I started making this habitation throw. It is gorgeous. I'm making my own sort of little gradient, so I'm just making up as I go along. And it started in this sort of dark, moody greys with sort of warmer beigey tones. Added in some greens and things, and now we're going lighter with a sort of peachy colour. And yeah, I've started reducing. So I divided my yarn up into into 2 sort of equal halves, and as soon as I got to the halfway point I started reducing. So yeah, that is there. I'm holding, I started off using mohair scraps once I'd run out of the Rowan Kid Silk Haze that I was using. I thought, you know what, this is such special yarn. I want to keep going with this. So I picked up another couple of balls of this. This is Rowan Kid Silk Haze. It is a bit of a, you know, I've splashed out a bit. It is a bit luxurious. 25 grams of this is how many meters? Where is it? So 25 grams of this is 210 meters, and it is 70% mohair, 30% silk. And I'm using the colour, which colour am I using? Is it there? 590, and it's this gorgeous, I don't know what you call it really, a sort of a pearly, oystery sort of colour, sort of pinkish undertone. So I'm using that all the way through, and it's making, can I just show you the gradient properly without taking it off my needles? There we go. So that's what's happening so far. And this is the Habitation Throw from Helen Stewart. I've made this so many times. I've made it in cotton, I've made it in rustic yarn, I've made it in really chunky yarn. I've made so many of these. It's just a nice, easy, relatively mindless pattern. So Helen Stewart's patterns are great, especially if you're new to knitting, because she holds your hand all the way through. The pattern isn't charted, it's sort of line by line. And as you're going through, it gives you a percentage completion as well, so you know exactly where you are in the pattern. So this is nice and simple. You start in one corner, there's an I-cord on each side, and you increase on the right side and knit on the wrong side, and put in some yarn overs every now and again. And yeah, it's just really gorgeous, nice and simple. But really comforting. So yeah, the idea is I finish this before I start my next advent. I don't mind if I don't finish it, but it's nice to have something simple to knit on in the evenings as well. If I want something that doesn't require too much brain, which believe me, happens more often than you think. I've skeined up pretty much all of this yarn. I've only got one skein left from Sherry Iris. I haven't skeined up yet, balled up yet. This is the last one. The gorgeous little picture of Robin on the front there. He's so cute. Yeah, so that's going to be the last one. So I'm almost there. I might finish it, but yeah, as I said, I don't mind if I don't. But it would be nice to have the bag back. My mum makes these fantastic extra large blanket bags out of Liberty fat quarters. She doesn't make them to sell, unfortunately. She just makes them for us, really. And normally I don't go for a project bag that's got a zip on it, but for long-term projects I like the extra security of having a zip to stop any critters and things. Not that I've ever had that, but I'm a bit paranoid about it. There's a lot of wool in this house, so better to be safe than sorry. But yeah, it's a really nice big project bag, and I would like to have that freed up for the next Advent project. So that, I think, is all the projects that I've got to show you today. Okay, so there are no irresponsible purchases to show you today. I've been very restrained. I have pre-ordered a book. So Liner magazine has just released for pre-order a book of patterns inspired by the Moomins, which is just, I couldn't resist. So initially my partner said, no, don't buy it, it's too close to your birthday, let somebody else get it for you. But then he relented and he said, just get it for yourself. He's got another idea. So the book is called The Art of the Sea, and it's got 23 patterns in it, all inspired by Moomins, and they haven't all got pictures of Moomins on them, but they're just inspired by, made by lots of different designers, and they're just gorgeous. There's some lovely things in there. I was really attracted to a particular poncho design. It's called Comfort, and it's by Paula Pereira, and it looks gorgeous. She's made her sample in a boucle, and I was thinking it would look super, super nice in maybe an unspun or something, just as a nice big floaty wrap, big poncho. But so many people have sent me screenshots and links and things to the book, and I'm so grateful. It's really, really sweet, because you know how much I love Moomins. In fact, I have a Moomin project bag right here. Cute little Moomins on it. So yeah, that's, I think it's being sent out sometime the end of November, but it's available for pre-order at the moment, and yeah, I couldn't resist. It was just too cute, and I do love the books from Liner. But yeah, so there isn't really anything else to talk to you about other than that it's getting colder, it's getting darker. Not my favourite thing in the world. I'm definitely a summer person. I prefer the sort of nice long sunny days and going open water swimming and all that kind of thing. But yeah, focusing on the positives. Super knitwear coming, in the winter season and everything. Although if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're approaching summer now, which is just wonderful. Maybe I should live for half the year down in the southern hemisphere, so then I've always got summertime. But anyway, so yes, today I also wanted to do a little giftaway because I'm incredibly grateful. I've reached over 4,000 followers, which I never thought would happen. I started doing this podcast because over the sort of the lockdown and Corona time and everything, I was incredibly lonely. It was really difficult living in a foreign country, not speaking the local language fluently, and just feeling really isolated and everything. So I found so much comfort in podcasters, knitting podcasters. I got really back into my knitting. Watched so many different podcasters. I've got some who are my absolute favourites that I always watch and I always look forward to. But I thought, you know what, I would like to contribute to that community as well, because if I found a lot of comfort in sort of interacting with people all over the world through their podcasts, maybe I can give that to somebody as well. So anyway, so I thought I'd start a podcast too, and I've really, really enjoyed doing it, and I genuinely can't believe that it's got over 4,000 followers, and I'm just so grateful. And to say thank you, I thought I'd do a little giveaway. So all you need to do is comment down below with the word season and tell me which your favourite season is and why, and you'll be put in a draw for a €20 gift voucher or equivalent for your local yarn shop or online shop or whatever. So yeah. Yes, so comment season down below to be in with a chance to win a €20 or equivalent gift voucher for the yarn shop of your choice. As I said, it can be your local yarn shop or an online shop, whatever works for you. But just please do not reply to anybody who's comments on your comment saying that you've won something. I will announce it here in the episode and ask you to get in contact with me. So yeah, ignore any bots and things, and if you're not sure, just message me and I'll check it out. So yeah, thank you. Thank you again for spending some time with me. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, so what have I got at the end of this? Oh yeah, so I haven't been to any yarn fairs or anything like that. So I thought I'd give you another little tour of my local yarn shop, the Geschenke-Werkstatt, that's owned by the lovely Iris. And I also filmed all of the Knit Night participants' projects as well. So one of the participants you will see knitting at the end isn't a knitter. Let's see if you can spot who it is. That's because I was doing the filming. My partner, who came to pick me up from Knit Night, he went and sat where I was sitting and pretended to knit on my project. So see if you can spot him. Anyway, it's been lovely spending time with you again. Have a lovely week and happy crafting, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.